again, over the span of time that I've been doing this, I've gotten more comments, more questions, and more interest in water sizing than anything else, which lends me to believe that there are a lot of questions that people have concerning this aspect of our job. So I'm going to do another water sizing exercise. We'll start with this drawing. This is the one that was from the little intro. And there are a few things that we need to add to this, like maybe calling that a water heater, right? We'll call this the hose bib because that's what it is. So these are a few things that weren't in the drawing, and I just wanted to add them in before we get started here. Water sizing, it really is contingent on the available pressure and the distance of your pipe. We size everything off of table, put it over here, 610.4 in the Uniform Plumbing Code, by the way. Everything I do is off of the UPC, not the International Plumbing Code. Sorry about that, everybody. That doesn't do the UPC. And our fixture units are derived from table 610.3. The cool thing about that is I have 610.4 over here and 610.3 right there. So we'll be able to look at both of those while we're doing this one sizing exercise. Okay, so knowing that, we'll go ahead and erase that because I want to use that space later. So let's erase this. All right, now up here you have total developed length. So starting off with your total developed length, let's do let's do 156 feet. Okay, let's have an elevation change of 18 feet, and let's have a minimum water pressure of 58. Yeah, we'll do 58. Okay, so with this information that we have gathered here, so you have your elevation change and you have your minimum water pressure. We have an elevation change of 18 feet, and we'll say that's a plus 18 feet. In elevation, you lose pressure. So as the pipe rises, you're lowering your pressure. So in 18 feet, you have a pressure loss every foot of 0.43 psi. Chapter 6 doesn't talk about 0.43 psi. What they want is 0.5 psi. And this is all based on chapter 6, okay? Not in real life, not physics, because physics states in, you know, simple gravity, it is 0.43 psi. So we go by 0.5, which rounds it up to a half a pound per foot. And at 18 feet, you divide that by 2 or multiply it by 0.5 if you want, you're going to end up with 9 psi. So you're going to subtract 9 psi from your minimum water pressure, and it's always going to be minimum. You want to use minimum, not maximum, because maximum gives you the maximum affordable, you know, pressure, right? But what about halfway through the day when everybody's using all the water and you drop in your pressure? Your demand has to be, it has to be supplied at the highest possible velocity with the minimum amount of pressure available. Because if you go with the maximum and size everything based on that pressure, when the pressure does drop, you're lowering your velocity, you're lowering your volume, and therefore you're not getting sufficient water supply. Okay, so always go off the minimum. So now that we have a minus 9 psi, we're going to subtract that from 58, and we're going to get what? A new pressure. Our new pressure is 49 psi. Okay, so we're operating at 49 psi. that is important to us when it comes to this chart right here, okay? You have a pressure range, and let's blow this up a little bit. So we have pressure ranges that go from 30 to 45, 46 to 60, and then over 60, okay? That's our pressure range. That's what we have to run everything off of. Go back down this way, come back over here, and we start looking at this again. So now that we have our pressure figured out, we still don't know how many fixtures we have. So I drew it a little bit differently this time so I wouldn't forget the kitchen sink. And for those of you who saw the other video, I forgot the kitchen sink. Unbelievable. So we're not going to forget it this time. Of course, I'll probably forget something else, but we'll see. All right. So how many water closets do we have? Let's go through, let's highlight these things. Okay. Okay. So let's highlight the shower. We have one shower there, and that's it, right? So we'll just go off one shower. We have one shower. How many water closets do we have? We have 1, 2, 3. 3 water closets. How many lavs do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. Any other lavs? No, that's it. Okay, for those of you who don't understand what a lab is, that's a lavatory. That is the so-called sink. And there is a difference between a sink and a lavatory. That's a different lecture. But it's the sink that's in the bathroom. Okay, so we have 4 of those. How many bathtubs or bathtub and showers do we have? We have 1 right there. So we'll do 1 right there. How many BSs do we have? For those of you who don't know, BS is a bar sink. So we have 1 bar sink. CW is a clothes washer. 1 clothes washer right there. Laundry sinks, LS. Got an LS right down here. So that'll be a laundry sink. Kitchen sink. Hey, look at that. There's my kitchen sink right there. 1 kitchen sink. 1 DW or dishwasher. 1. Okay, now hose bibs. First hose bib. Right there. 1. Each additional hose bib. Do those in a different color. Those in green. Got 1 here. Got 1 here. So we have 2 additional hose bibs. Okay. Matter of fact, we'll even change the color of this to green. 2 additional hose bibs. It's very important. Now, before we go any further, all we did was count our fixtures. That's all we did. We didn't look at the piping. We didn't do anything except count the fixtures. So I have all my fixtures counted, but I don't have the values for each one yet. And we're going to get to that in a second. But just keep in mind, this is the initial counting. All right. And that's how we could do what we did here with these hose bibs. Okay. First hose bib's 2.5. Each additional one is 1 fixture unit. And I'll show you that in a sec. Okay. So let's erase these highlighted sections. Because we counted everything. Or rather, everything is accounted for. Okay. Let's erase this too. highlight. We'll keep that green section right there so that we can come back to that. That's great. Get rid of it. We'll go to here. One there. All right. Now we get to do the values. So we're going to go to this section over here. And this is where we get our value for each fixture. Okay. Sorry about that. It's the hazards of running everything off of a touch screen. Okay. Bathtub. Bathtub for private. Do this. Back to the highlighter here. Everything we do is private in my example. Okay, there are public use areas and there are methods of sizing for public, but you know, for all intents and purposes, today it's private. So we have the bathtub. The bathtub is 4 fixture units. Clothes washer, 4 fixture units. Dishwasher, 1.5 fixture units. We're going to put all these in place, but it's just easier to go through them right now. So here we have a hose bib. So this, oh, hold on. We were doing green, so we might as well keep it green. Hose bibs and each additional hose bib. The first hose bib is 2.5. Each additional hose bib is 1. Okay, so we have a different count for additional hose bibs. And the theory is that there aren't going to be multiple hose bibs utilized at the same time. And if there are, chances are somebody's not going to be in the house, so it's only going to be valued at 1. You know, it's a theory. So the lavatory is 1 fixture unit. Let's see, we have the bar sink. That is 1 fixture unit. The kitchen sink, 1.5. The laundry sink, 1.5. Each shower is 2 fixture units. We don't have a urinal in there, even though probably most people like me would love to have a urinal in their own garage, but it doesn't work out that way sometimes. Water closet, 1.6 gallon per flush gravity tank. That's what we're using right there. So that's the essential sizing parameters for what we have available in our house. So these are all the values. Okay. Now we go back and plug everything in over here. The value of the water closet was 2.5. And so 3 at 2.5 gives me a total of what? 7.5. 4 labs at 1 fixture unit apiece is a total of 4 fixture units. 1 bathtub was worth 4, and that is going to be 4 fixture units. And again, all of that was taken off of this table right there, table 610.3. Okay. So all of our fixture unit values come from table 610.3. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and put a little parentheses in there and call it table 610.3. There. 1 shower. The shower value is 2. So we'll put a 2 right there. Bar sink is worth 1. We'll do 1. Clothes washer, that's worth 4. Put 4 in there. Laundry sink is 1.5. Put 1.5. Some people call that a laundry tray, but it's a laundry sink. Kitchen sink, 1.5. Dishwasher. The reason why I'm putting it in red is because the dishwasher only is supplied on the hot side. So do 1.5 for that. First hose bib, 2.5. 2 hose bibs at the value for each additional hose bib was 1. So that equals 2. Now we get to add all this up. This is the fun part. Okay, so we have 15.5, 17.5, 18.5, 22.5, 23, 24, 25.5, 27, 29.5, 31.5. So I have a total demand of 31.5 fixtures or fixture units. Okay. That total demand of 31.5 fixture units, and that's total demand coming in from the meter. Okay, coming in from the meter, not like everything. It's 31.5 fixtures that need to be supplied to this house. We are going to now figure out what size the meter is going to be. And that goes to table 610.4. So we're going to write down right here, a little cheat sheet, 31.5, and our pressure was 49 psi. Let's go back over here. Take a look at the pressure range, and let's see what we got. Well, we have 30 to 45. Does that work? No. So let's get rid of that one. 46 to 60. Does that work? Absolutely, it works. So that's what our pressure range is going to be, which means we are going to use the table that's right in, let's highlight that in that color. We're going to use this guy right here. All of this information right there. That's our information. So that's our pressure range. What was our distance? Does anybody remember what the distance was? Let's take a look. And it says 156 feet. So now we have 156 feet. Well, we have 150 here. Does that work? No, because we have 156. So we have to go up to the next column, which is 200. Now, this is where we're going to be, right in there. What was our total fixture unit value? 31.5, right? So you notice that I highlighted all the way down till I hit 39. Now this is where we come in here, and let's run with a darker color here. So we end up with 39 right there. That's 39 fixtures. The one before that, which was 25 right there, that didn't cut it. I got 31 fixtures. So I have to go to 39 fixture units. Then from there, I run across here. And that gives me a 3/4 inch meter, because if you look at the far left column, meter and street service, that's what I'm looking for, right? I need my meter size. Well, based on 39 fixture units, and let's go ahead and blow this up just a little bit more so that we're pretty clear on this. At 39 fixture units, I have a 3/4 inch meter. And it also tells me the size of my pipe, which is 1 1/4 inches. Okay, so let's go back. That's good enough. Okay, let's go back over to our drawing here. And so we got 39 with a 3/4 inch meter. My meter size is 3/4, and that was 1 1/4 inch supply at 39 fixture units. Okay, so now I have to go back and I have to take a look and see what my 1 inch supply demand can be. How many fixture units can go on a 1 inch supply? How many can go on a 3/4, and how many can go on a 1/2 inch? But keep in mind, 3/4 meter. That's important because take a look at this. The next one up, which was 25. What size is the meter on this? We have a meter size right here. Green. That's 1 inch. We don't need that demand because that demand doesn't match up with our meter, which is 3/4. Okay. So we go back to the next one, which is a 3/4 meter, and that is for 1 inch pipe. So that gives me 23. So 1 inch is 23. Right? 3/4 is 11. Right? 3/4, 11. And then 1/2 inch gives me a total of 3 fixture units. So in this case, a system with a pressure range between 46 and 60 psi, with a total distance between 150 and 200, in our case 156 feet. So you have 156 feet, you have a pressure range that's right in there between 46 and 60. These are our fixture unit values with the size and the meter that's provided, okay? So we can go back over here. And for 1/2 inch, I can put 3 fixture units. For 3/4, I can put 11. And for 1 inch, I can put 23. Okay. Now we can actually start looking to size out the entire system. Erase that. Let's blow this thing up a little. And really start to analyze this and size it out according to the information that we have. Okay, and the information we have, it's all right here. So everything we need to know is right in here, okay, and right here. That's all we need. That's it. Take a look at the shower in this upper corner here. Let's go ahead and look at that, and we'll do blue. So this 1/2 inch line, or well, it's going to be 1/2 inch, but this line right here, right there, X marks the spot. The shower is worth 2 fixture units. Each lab is 1, so we can go ahead and do this, that, this. Hose bit's 2.5. Okay, so if the shower's 2, then my fixture unit value here is 2, which means for 3 fixture units, this is only 2 fixture units, it's a 1/2 inch pipe. Okay, so this is 1/2 inch. All right. Now, what about this guy right here? How many fixture units are there? And we're only going to write down the fixture unit values for each one of these lines because we have the information, like I said, highlighted down here. Okay, so with the highlighted section, we really don't need to put down the size. We'll just visually look at it and I'll tell you the size. Okay, so what's my fixture unit value here? Well, if I had two fixture units here, one here, which makes this one 2, this total would be 4. 4 fixture units is going to give me a total size of 3/4, right? Because like I said, down here at the bottom, right down here, it says 3 fixture units total for 1/2 inch. So the next one up, which goes up to 11, That's 3/4. So right here, that's 3/4. I'm going to add the water closet. So for this one here, this is going to be 6.5. And 6.5 is still 3/4 because it's less than 11. Then I'm going to add the hose bib. So right here, that is going to be 9 fixture units, still 3/4. Okay. We have the 4 fixture units for my tub, which is here. So that's 4. And then we're going to add the lab right there. So that's going to be 5. So this one here is 14. See, now I go from 9 to 14 because keep in mind, my water flow is this way, right? Everything's coming from the meter, which is right down here, right? And it moves from there. So yeah, everything comes from the water meter, goes this way, right? And as we go this way, we're adding our fixture units, you know, well, actually in this case, we're starting at the furthest end and working our way back. And as we go back towards the meter, we are adding our fixture units. Then we have our kitchen sink, which is 1.5, right? So this is 1.5, the lab is 1, this water closet's 2.5. So at this point right here, we have 16.5. At this point right here, we have 18, okay? Because we picked up the kitchen sink. And then we're picking up the bar sink at this level right here, and that gives us 19. This one here, this guy right here, we're picking up this hose bib. Now, explanations on the hose bibs. Each additional hose bib is counted as 1 fixture unit. By itself, it's 2.5. But once it goes into a line that has another hose bib on it, that second hose bib gets counted as 1. So this fixture unit value is 20, okay? Because it has 2 hose bibs, one at 2.5, the other one at 1. I'm going to put 2.5, but also it's 1. Okay, because this little run, let's blow this up a little bit. And we did green, right? So we'll do this. This little portion right there, that little piece of pipe that feeds just the hose bib, that's your 2.5 fixture units. When it ties in to your regular cold line, which is this guy right here, once it ties into that blue line, that fixture unit value for the hose bib goes from 2.5 to 1. So, okay. And let's see, we are going to our next run. So we have a fixture unit value at the water closet of 2.5. Still my highlighter. 2.5, and that's 1. So this part right here, that's 3.5, which makes this part right here 23.5. Okay, 23.5 fixture units puts me at 1.25 inches. Okay, because you see the 1-inch supply right here is 23, and I'm a 0.5 point above that. So there's no fudge factor or anything else. 23.5 is over 23, therefore this is 1.25 inches of pipe. Okay, right? So too far. 23.5, 1.25 inches. There you go. Now, here's where it gets a little dicey. I don't have a fixture unit value for my water heater. Well, yeah, by the way, this is a water heater. And this is your other hose bib right here. Okay. So I don't have a fixture unit value for a water heater because a water heater doesn't have a fixture unit value. A water heater is just a storage compartment for water to create hot water. That's what a water heater is. It's also an alternate route for some fixtures to travel. See, let's look at the shower at the very end of the line here. So we have this shower, which is right here, right? That shower was being fed this way, through the main, all the way over here. That's the way it was going. We fed that, we counted it, and it's counted right there, 23.5 fixture units. But what if you turn the hot water side of the shower on? You now have to run that 2 fixture unit value this way, all the way up through this line and over, okay? So this portion, that portion that just got highlighted, and we'll actually highlight it in red this time. This portion right here, that is the shower run, okay? So I have 2 fixture units for my shower going this way, but I also have to feed it this way. And by going that way, I have to add 2 fixture units, okay? But the value is still 2. That's as much explanation on the water heater in this video I'm going to give. So we're going to count back to figure out exactly how much I have to supply my water heater. How much volume do I have to supply? So let's get rid of this so as not to confuse. There, okay. Matter of fact, let's get rid of the rest of the highlights. There we go. Okay. In order to do this, and we'll go ahead and do this in red, I have fixture unit values for these pieces of pipe. So this piece right here is feeding the shower and the 2 labs because I have hot water feeding those labs. So that's a value of 4, okay? Over here, I have the tub and shower and the lab, and that's a total of 5. Okay. I have my dishwasher and my kitchen sink. The dishwasher is 1.5. So I have a total value here of 3 plus 5. So right here, I have 8, which means right here, I have 12. Then I'm feeding the bar sink, which is 1, the lab, which is 1. So this piece of pipe here is 2 fixture units, which makes this little piece right here 14, right? I have my clothes washer, that's 4 fixture units. My laundry sink, that's 1.5. So this piece right here is what, 5.5? 5.5 and 14. I have a total demand at my water heater of 19.5 fixture units. So that's where my supply, that's what it needs to be, 19.5. So if I have 19.5 fixture units going to my water heater, in this particular case, that's a 1-inch supply. Yes? 1-inch supply going to the water heater. So now this piece has a total fixture unit value of how much? Well, I have 19.5 going this way. I have 23.5 going that way. So you would think in adding this stuff up, you're going to end up with what, 43? But again, remember at the very beginning of what we started here, we started with fixtures. How many fixtures? Don't worry about the piping. Don't worry about the routing. Don't worry about anything. Just tell me the fixtures. We had a total demand of 31.5. Therefore, I have 31.5 fixtures here. I know the math dictates that this should be freaking 43, but it's not 43, okay? It is not. It's 31.5. And that is explained right here in section 610.9. No branch piping shall exceed the total demand in fixture units for the system which was computed from table 610.3. So the entire system was computed and calculated based on what we had fixture-wise, not piping, fixtures. We only feed 31.5. It just happens that 19.5 fixture units happen to be going this way as well as this way. Okay, so we don't have to go higher than 31.5. Okay, we can sit there and we can calculate this guy. Well, again, I did it again. I need to go back to my pen, not the highlighter. So right here, we have a total fixture unit value of 5.5. Right here, each one, might as well do each section of piping. Well, for the most part, each section of piping. We have a fixture unit value of 31.5. Right? And then the hose bib, we add the hose bib. We add 1 to it, but it doesn't matter because no matter what, it's going to be 31.5. That's the maximum. That's as high as we go. So now you can go through, you can actually size out the entire system. And our entire system is going to be, we'll run this 1 1/4 inch, 1 1/4. The 5.5, that gives you 3/4 supply. So you can take all of these fixtures, all of these fixture units, and run them and get sizes based on all that. That is sizing, hopefully simplified a little bit. I know there's a lot of stuff written on that one little piece of paper or that one drawing, but you just size an entire system. And this time I didn't forget the kitchen sink. That's it. I hope you learned something on this. Leave a comment, and you know what? Actually, there's a deal at the end of my videos. The last 15 seconds or so, there's this drawing, and I didn't know what to do, and it just like, okay, well, we'll do a subscribe type deal, and it's essentially a copper 90 that looks like this, and I had it highlighted, so it looks like this. In like the last 15 seconds or so, that's my subscribe button. So if you hit that, for all of you that aren't on this thing, that's my subscribe. So you click that little copper fitting and you can subscribe to the channel. And all it's going to be, and all it ever will be, is just information on the code and things to do and how to do it for plumbing. And that's it. I'll talk to you all later. I hope you enjoyed this explanation on water sizing. And that is it.